60 Minutes Overtime.
One of the most frustrating things about doing this story was that we felt like we were looking at Kabul through a drinking straw. You only could see this because the security situation was so dicey. I'm Guy Campanile. I'm one of the producers that worked this week on our story about Afghanistan. What made us go back this time was something we heard, that U.S. personnel, military and diplomats, were required to fly the short distance between the airport and U.S. NATO headquarters in central Kabul. It's a distance of only 2 miles. We went up, we went over, and we went down.
Literally, you're in the air for 5 minutes or less. That's stunning. And having lived in Kabul and spent so many years there, I couldn't believe that was the case. I mean, I used to ride on the back of a motorbike around that city, and now our own soldiers and diplomats can't use the roads. That's something you want to understand better, and you have to see it for yourself.
One of the things that really made doing the story possible was a team we'd assembled to go to Afghanistan.
Trying to make a story in this place right now, I'd have more like finding Jimmy Hoffa's body.
Richard Butler, one of the best combat producers in the world. Andy Bass, our associate producer, who brought fresh eyes to the project. Don Lee, cameraman, extraordinary combat photographer. And Tomas Favrusa, our sound technician, who also has been to every place in the world where nobody else wants to go.
It's Afghanistan. I thought everything was going to go great.
Yeah.
What did I tell you?
I
told you it was going to be an adventure and frustration.
This story was a product of how many? 16 years of covering this war.
In the few days since the United Front made their triumphant entry into the city, life has changed dramatically.
We have tried to go back to Afghanistan every single year.
The sound that you're hearing now is a 50 caliber machine gun being fired.
And the last few years were tough because there wasn't a significant amount of interest in Afghanistan.
What's unique about this place?
And yet the great thing about covering something over 16 years is that you never forget the way that city was. Every single year, year after year when you went back there. So that gives you a context and it gives you depth to your reporting.
When I came into Kabul for the first time with the Afghan forces, when they took the city from the Taliban in 2001, there wasn't a single light.
That's something that we're particularly proud of, I think, with our Afghan coverage.
All the 37 suicide bombers.
60 Minutes has been consistently committed to covering that war. And it took a long time this time to find a story that captured everyone's attention, and this one did. What I noticed from 2014 to now is that the blast walls didn't just double in size. In some places, they tripled in size. It's very claustrophobic, and it's very frustrating, too, because here's this extraordinary place and fascinating people, and all I want to do as a reporter is go out.
You just want to jump out of the car and talk to people about their lives, so we just couldn't do that.
Our security didn't want us out of the car for more than 5 minutes on a street. The risk of driving on the roads is significant for every Afghan living in that city. The biggest threat right now are what they call magnetic IEDs.
Because of the danger of someone slapping a magnetic bomb to the side of the car, sitting in traffic was nerve-wracking.
And what you have to watch for are kids even being paid a few bucks here and there to just walk through the traffic and stick a magnetic IED on your car. And boom, it's over.
Welcome to Kabul,
Yeah, right.
where your first order of business is putting on body armor.
Yes.
We're in the hotel right now. What we're doing is we're looking through the material that Don has shot over the last 72 hours.
How much have you been able to move around Kabul?
Moving around this city is unlike anything I've experienced. And Don has more experience in war zones than almost anybody at CBS News.
And Don, it's bad, right? It's tough.
It's so much worse than it ever was here. That's the thing, is it was always a little dangerous, but we could walk around, we could go to restaurants. Just we're a little careful about not raising our profile, but now none of that matters.
It feels like it's sliding back to a time before 2001, before the U.S. went in there, where every street was a battlefield. And as a foreigner, it was such a roll of the dice. Hardly any of us dared to go in there.
I guess what we wanted to find out was if we are unable to drive in a city that basically NATO forces has held for 16 years, then where are we in the war right now?